Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Haris Shamil bin Saharunizam. In this video, my teammates Muhammad Irfan and Wan Muhammad Rais Rafiki and I will be presenting our project, which consists of computer components classification, 8-bit ALU implementation by using Logism, as well as assembly language program.
Hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Irfan bin Muhammad Rosli and my metric number is CA24064. Let's quickly go over the four main parts inside a computer. The first one is the CPU. It's the brain doing all the thinking and calculations. Second one is the motherboard. It's the backbone connecting everything together. The third component is the RAM. It's the short-term memory holding data that's in active use. Lastly, the PSU is the power supply, converting electricity and keeping everything running safely. In short, the brain thinks, the backbone connects, and the memory holds, and the power supply fuels. That's the main core of any computer. Central Processing Unit, or we known as the CPU, is widely regarded as the brain of the computer. Its principal function is to execute program instructions. It accomplishes this by performing the fundamental operations of a computing system, such as basic arithmetic, logical evaluation, control flow management, and lastly is the input-output processes. Next, we go to the second part is the motherboard. The motherboard serves as the primary printed circuit board, or other name is PCB. Within the system, it acts as the foundational platform, physically connecting all the internal components. Furthermore, it establishes and manages the essential communication pathways, including data buses and power traces that enable interoperability between the CPU, memory, and peripheral device. Go to the RAM, or the other name, the full name is random access memory, constitutes the system's high speed and volatile memory. Its purpose is to temporarily store data that the CPU requires for immediate processing. Operating as the computer's short-term memory, it holds the active working set of the operating system and applications, which is critical for achieving responsive system performance. For the last but not least, we go to the power supply unit, or PSU. It's responsible for electrical power management. Its primary task is to converting alternating current, or AC, from the main supply into the low voltage direct current, DC, required by the system's integrated circuits, or IC. It precisely manages the correct amount of electrical power distributed to each component. This regulated and stable power delivery is fundamental to ensuring overall system stable and hardware integrity.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Muhammad Rais Rafiki bin Wan Muhammad Rozi. My metric number is CA24101. From this slide, I will give a quick overview about external component. Firstly, we have monitor, also known as visual output unit. The monitor is the primary output device that serves as the system visual interface. Its principal function to translate complex internal binary into a human readable format. Secondly, we have keyboard. The keyboard, also known as common input unit. The keyboard is a foundational input device that enables direct communication between the user and the CPU. Its principal function to facilitate manual data entry and command instruments. Other than that, we have mouse, precision navigation unit. The mouse is a high-speed input device used for spatial navigation and UI interaction. Its principal function is to track physical movement and translate it into digital coordinate. Last but not least, we have speakers. The speaker is an essential output component used for real-time auditory feedback and signal synchronization. Its principal function is to convert digital audio data into analog electric signals.
In this section, I will explain how internal components influencing computer performance. Think of your computer as a high-performance engine. It's not just one part, it's a symphony of hardware working in sync. First, the CPU, or the brain. Its clock speed determines how fast a single task finishes, while core count lets you multitask without breaking a sweat. Supporting the brain is the motherboard. It's the backbone. Its bus speeds detect how fast data travels, with high-quality VRMs ensure steady power to prevent crashes under pressure. Then there's RAM, your high-speed workspace. Instead of digging through slow storage, the CPU grabs what it needs instantly from RAM. More RAM means no bottlenecks. Faster RAM means snappier data transfer. Finally, the PSU. It doesn't make the PC faster, but a subpar unit causes instability and throttling. An efficient, high-rated PSU keeps heat low and your components alive longer. Speed, stability, and power. That's the internal engine of your PC. Now, we move to how external components influencing computer performance. Performance isn't just about what's inside the case. Your external components are the bridge between your brain and the machine. First, the monitor. It's your window into the data. While 4K resolution gives you more workspace, a high refresh rate like 144 Hz makes every movement fluid and lifelike. Next, your keyboard. It's about precision. Mechanical switch offer tactile feedback that reduce typing errors and cuts down input lag, crucial when every millisecond counts. Then there's the mouse. A high-quality sensor with high DPI ensures pixel-perfect accuracy. Whether you're editing fine details in a design or aiming in a game, consistency is a key. Finally, the speakers. In audio editing or gaming, high-fidelity sound isn't just a luxury. It provides the spatial cues and minute details you need to react to your environment. Better peripherals don't just look good, they make you more performant.
The circuit is an 8-bit arithmetic logic unit designed to handle the two most fundamental operations in computing, which is addition and subtraction. The first, the architecture I'm used for the circuit is a Ripple carry design. I have changed together 8 identical 1-bit full adder that I've been created before, and then I uh, change the gate into this block from left to right. The chain, notice how the carry out pin of each block connects directly to the carry in of its neighbor. It allows the mathematical carry, like when you carry the 1 in math, the ripple through the entire 8-bit number, giving us a complete calculation. The control logic for subtraction mode. To make the circuit smart enough to subtract, I added a control system called submod_there. This used as a concept called second complement. When submod is 0, the circuit acts as a normal adder. When submod is 1, the XOR gate flip the bits of input B and we send a 1 input into the very first block. This mathematically converts positive B into negative B. To understand exactly how each block makes decisions, let's look at the truth table for a single slice of the circuit. For addition, the logic is straightforward. If we look at the row number 4, the table 1 plus 1 result is sum of 0 and carry of 1. This is standard binary addition. For subtraction, the table shows how the XOR gate acts as an inverter. If you look at the input B column versus the flipped B or B to adder, you see they are opposites. The adder block actually calculates using the flip value. This allows the hardware to perform subtraction without needing to be redesigned. It's just adding negative numbers only. In summary, this part demonstrates how complex CPU instructions like add and subs are broken down into simple logic gate by controlling the flow of its bits through XOR gate and adder blocks. We can perform complex arithmetic using nothing but electricity and logic. Thank you.
In this circuit, we are exploring the AND gate, while the OR gate asks if the input is empty. The AND gate is more restrictive. Its job to output 1 only if both inputs are simultaneously high, while logism provide a single AND component. Constructing it from its fundamental logic help us visualize the exact condition required for a true result. By building the AND gate this way, we see that it is not just a simple switch but a precise evaluator of condition, whether it is built from a single component from universal NAND gate. The AND operation remains the foundation of binary multiplication and decision making in every processor. In this circuits, NOR gate, which is short for NOT OR, as the name suggests, its job is to perform an OR operation and then immediately flip the result, while logism has a built-in NOR component. Building it from basic gates help us to understand its fundamental behavior. Just like the XOR and NAND example you see in the image, we can scale this up to 8 bits by changing the data bits attributes of the OR and NOT gate to 8. We can process an entire byte of data at once. This is used in computer to quickly check if an entire 8-bit register is equal to 0, and no gate itself is considered as a universal gate. Looking at this circuit, we are seeing the internal anatomy of an 8-bit XOR gate. Instead of using a single XOR component, this design uses fundamental logic gate to show exactly how the exclusive logic is calculated. Since it is set to 8 bits, every wire you see here is actually a bus carrying 8 individual signals at once. Finally, the outputs from both AND gates meet the OR gate on the right. The OR gate sends a 1 to the output pin. This satisfies the XOR rule. The output is only 1 if the inputs are different. Because we configure the data bits to 8 in logism, this logic is being applied to all bits in parallel, giving us our final 8-bit results.
Let's look at this ALU executes a logical shift left. We start with input A, which is binary 00000111 or hex 7. The data flows into the shift register block. A shift left operation moves every bit one position to the left and fills the empty space on the right with a 0. To see this result, we set the OP select to 010. This tells the multiplexer to ignore the adder and subtractor and pull the result directly from the shifter. Look at the output. Our 111 has moved over, becoming 00001110. In the world of math, shifting left by 1 is the same as multiplying by 2. That's why our hex display jumps from 7 to E, representing the decimal value of 14. Let's break down the logical shift right operation. We start with input A, set to 00001000, which is decimal 8. The signal flows into the right shifter. This component moves every bit one position to the right, dropping the last bit and filling the leftmost spot with a 0. To output this specific result, we set our OP select to 0, 1, 1. This instructs the multiplexer to grab the data specifically from the right shifter's path. Notice the result. Our binary value is now 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. In binary arithmetic, a single shift right is equivalent to dividing the number by 2. That's why our hex display shows the value of 4. The ALU has successfully divided our input from 8 to 4.
So this is our assembly language code. We only using two addresses which the operation happen are in XY, move WV1, move UP, add UW, move V2 U, and out XU.
Opcode's explanation. We will start with in instruction X, Y. The CPU targets a specific external port like keyboard or sensor and it tells it to get its data ready. It uses the address bar to pick the right device and a read signal to start the transfer. Next, move instruction WV1. We use move to pull data from memory. The CPU looks up a specific address in the RAM called V1 and moves that value into an external storage spot called register W so it's ready to be used. Move instruction UP. We do the same thing for our second piece of data. The CPU goes to memory address P, grabs the value and prints it into register U. Now the CPU has both numbers it needs to perform calculation sitting right inside its internal register. Add instruction UW. Now for the brain to work, the add instruction, the control units tells the ALU to switch on its additional logic. It then pulls in the binary data from register U and W into the ALU to calculate the sum. Last, move instruction V2 U. Finally, we have to see how it works. This move instruction takes the final result sitting in register U and sends it back out to a specific spot in the memory address V2. This ensures our process data is stored safely for the user to see or use later.
Finally, the CPU, memory, and input-output interaction. Inside the CPU, the control unit starts the show. It coordinates data movement into the accumulator or register U using a simple move command. The real magic happens in the ALU. During an add instruction, it fetches values from two registers, adds them, and stores the total back applying logic to data already stored in its internal pockets. But internal storage is small. So the CPU uses the RAM interface. It retrieves data from a memory address via the data bus using a load operation and sends it back using a store operation. This interaction is vital because RAM acts as the temporary long-term storage. The CPU needs to manage an entire program's data at once. Finally, the input-output interaction connects everything to the outside world. In command pulls in a keystroke or variable, and output command sends the final result to your monitor. From the first input to the final display, that is how a system turns raw data into useful information. That's conclude our presentation. Thank you for your time and attention.